Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I would like to present to you the President of the Chamber of Commerce of Aruba, Daphne Aegis Cesario Lejuez. Please give her a big round of applause. Thank you.
Good evening. As protocol being observed, I would like to start my speech. As the President of the Aruba Chamber of Commerce and Industry, it is my honor to welcome you to the Aruba Chamber's annual business event. I would also like to thank our main sponsor, Caribbean Mercantile Bank, for their support and participation in our annual event. The theme this evening is Control, Alt, Delete, and symbolizes the need for a reset, the need to regroup, rethink, rebuild, strengthen, and prepare Aruba's economy for the future in order to achieve an environment where businesses can thrive and foreign investment can be attracted and retained. As we reflect on the past year, we have seen limited improvement in reducing the cost of doing business. There has also been little attention given to the obstacles presented in our publication last year, as well as some new ones, such as cumbersome administrative processes, especially for small and medium enterprises, lack of improvement and attractiveness of our fiscal regime, stringent and restricted labor laws, limited access to investment capital and long-winded banking requirements, lack of legal, fiscal, and economic infrastructure to encourage and facilitate innovation and e-business, increase in crime rate and violence. All of these will require improvement in order to contribute to the ease of doing business and to create a stimulating environment that would encourage foreign and local investment. Throughout the course of 2016, up to the third quarter, the Chamber of Commerce has seen little change in the downward trend of business registrations, now at an overall 8% decrease compared to 2015. In addition to a decline in registrations, we have also experienced an increase in removal of companies from the Chamber's registry of about 7.5%. It needs to be noted that this number does not include companies that have closed and have not yet removed themselves from the Chamber's registry. This leads to the conclusion that there's still a feeling of uncertainty to establish a business. In addition to the relatively high cost of doing business, this can also be attributed to the highly competitive marketplace. Many companies sell similar products and services, and due to the lax delineation of commercial areas, the migration of many small stores to non-traditional commercial areas closer to the consumer has further fragmented traditional commercial areas. The Postal Office reports over 30,000 registrations for their e-post service, confirming the increasing trend in online purchases and its notable effect on the local economy. It is here that as a Chamber we feel that both the public and private sectors need to work together to bring about the necessary legal, fiscal, economic, and environmental changes to propel our local economy into a more innovative and dynamic direction. Publications and surveys by the Central Bank of Aruba this year indicate that consumer confidence has not picked up, and as such, the current trend in reduced consumer spending continues. A recent central bank survey indicated that consumers are unhappy with their personal financial situation, and that also they have little confidence that it will see improvement in the near future. However, there seems to be significant expectation on the impact the reopening of the refinery might have. Furthermore, gross capital formation, defined as capital investments by both private and public sector to the business sector, has seen a steady decline since 2009, according to the Central Bank's annual Statistical Digest of 2015. This indicates a consistent economic downturn. Government revenues from BBO, income taxes, and excise duties did not increase in the first half of 2016, and this resulted in complication in financing government projects. In the first quarter, BBO revenues fell by 8.7%, and during the same period, income tax revenue dropped by 0.4%. According to the central bank, our current GDP to debt ratio for 2015 was 82%, with a forecasted 84% for 2016 and even 89% for 2017 without the reopening of the refinery. Our economy has been projected to grow 1.1% in 2016 after virtually zero growth in 2015, and the reopening of the refinery was estimated to push economic growth to 6.7% in real terms in 2016. In their Adviesontwerpbegroting 2017, CAFD mentioned that even though Aruba is taking positive steps to improve their financial position, the financial threats to reduce the deficit have not yet been properly addressed. CAFD further notes that AZV experienced a loss of 15.9 million in 2015, partly due to reduced government contribution of 8.5 million florins, as well as a decline in company contributions. Government personnel costs have been reduced by 1.34%, but the cost of goods and services increased by over 4.4 million, or 19%. While income tax, import duties, and BBO revenues all experienced a decline, CFT mentioned that expected revenue gains related to the reopening of the refinery should be allocated to help lower costs. While the agreements for the reopening of the refinery have been approved and signed with Citgo Aruba PDVSA Holding after several delays, the current financial situation of PDVSA, the mother company, leaves many questions as to the actual benefits and risks that can be expected for 2016 and future years, included but not limited to a more costly acquisition of funds for its operations. Tourism, on the other hand, has shown moderate growth in recent years. However, when compared with the previous years, the number of stayover visitors did not see an increase in the first 6 months of 2016. The substantial drop in visitors from Latin America, particularly Venezuela, which shows a drop of 43.8% in May and a drop of 36.7% in June, contributed to the overall stagnation in tourism figures. The Chamber of Commerce recognizes that there is a direct correlation between the quantity of visitors from Venezuela and the instability that exists in the country at the moment. Visitors from North America did see an increase, however, a smaller one that was seen in the first 6 months of 2015. The slight increase here, primarily from the United States market, has partially helped to ease the effects of the significant drop in visitors from Venezuela. With regard to the cruise tourism, an increase of 14.4% is evident when comparing to June 2016. The recent hasty and unilateral changes to the hotel permit legislation, which now restricts the sale of all-inclusive packages, also does little to encourage confidence within the hotel industry and might deter future investment and expansion in this sector. Considering the steady decline in consumer and commercial confidence, paired with our vulnerability to shocks to the tourism industry, as well as a moderate to conservative outlook for the reopening of the refinery, perhaps it is advisable to take a serious look at the economic diversification, especially in the field of technology and its many facets. For this to happen, there needs to be the necessary legal, fiscal, and economic infrastructure to encourage and facilitate innovation and e-business. A serious investment in education to cover areas such as information technology is necessary to nurture and encourage true innovation. This will ensure that Arubans are better prepared to service the technological industries that need them now and will need them even more so in the future. The Aruba Chamber of Commerce, as an organization that deals with all stakeholders in the business community, wants to do all it can to encourage and promote a business environment that is more attractive to local entrepreneurs and foreign investors. The Chamber of Commerce believes that short to medium-term removal of the hindrances to business that exist, combined with a long-term development plan, is necessary and will benefit the business community overall and, as a direct result, Aruba's population. Coming back to the chosen theme of tonight, Control-Alt-Delete, we feel that a reset in thinking is required. As was mentioned in our last annual event, stakeholders may not always agree on the approach and direction to take, but in today's dynamic environment where changes occur by a simple click, we too must adapt and find common ground between us to ensure that Aruba's economic future is a brighter one and that the long-term well-being of her people is safeguarded. Thank you very much.